Hi everyone, my name is Kate. Welcome back to my wondernetting channel. In today's video we are going to crochet socks together. I already have a video on my channel how to crochet socks, but this one will be a little add-on with some changes to make the process even clearly and easier for you. I'll also explain how to adjust the pattern for men's size, since a lot of you asked me about that in the comments under my previous video. And now is the perfect season to start making handmade gifts, since Christmas, New Year just around the corner, yes. So today I'll first show you step by step how to crochet simple women's socks. Then I'll explain you how to crochet men's socks, and I'll explain what you need to change, maybe some increases, adjustments, and to make things easier for you I'll also add text instructions on the screen with women's and men's instructions side by side, so you don't have to rewind in the video. And at the end of the video I'll give you some extra tips how to crochet socks for kids. Today we'll be crocheting socks for the whole family. I'll be making a newborn size as an example. Honestly, I've never tried crocheting baby socks before, so today we're going to experiment together. I think it's going to turn out beautifully. For today's project I'll be using Alpaca Silk from Hobby. It's 30% mulberry silk and 70% alpaca, which is perfect for cold autumn, for winter, that will keep your feet cozy and warm. For myself, I'll be working with off-white color. For my husband I'll be using dark brown color, and for my baby girl I'll be using off-white with maybe brown details. Now many people say that crocheted socks are uncomfortable, but no, I'll prove you that wrong. When crocheted with soft, quality yarn, crocheted socks are incredibly comfortable and gentle on your feet. I don't feel like I'm walking on pebbles at all. So don't believe the myth, try yourself and you'll see the difference. Before we start, please subscribe to my channel, like this video and leave your comment. What do you think about crochet socks? Have you ever tried crochet socks? Are they comfortable for you or not? It will be interesting to read. By the way, the tutorial on this super oversized cardigan is already on my channel. You will find the link in the description or right in this corner. We'll need 4 skeins of yarn, 4 skeins because I'll be working with 2 strands held together. Honestly, I recommend you do the same. This way the socks will turn out denser, more comfortable and much easier to crochet. For both women's and men's sizes we'll need 4 skeins of yarn, and you'll even have a bit left over. You can use that to make a pair of small baby socks. We'll also need 5mm hook and 4mm hook. Definitely grab the smaller one too, because we'll need it later. The link to this yarn you will find in the description. To crochet with 2 strands, I just take the yarn end from the center of the skein and from the center of another skein and start working. Leave a slightly longer tail will need it at the very end, and it will also mark the bottom of the sock. Now we need to chain 70 stitches. I'm making the women's size right now. The men's size is about 40 to 43 European size. You'll see it on the screen. And at the very end of the video I'll tell you how many extra chains to add if you want to make a bigger size than 43 European size. Women's socks will fit European sizes 36 through 39. Basically, if your size falls within this range, you can just follow along with me exactly. The socks stretch really well, and at the end we'll steam them a little so they'll stretch out even more. Also keep in mind, once you actually wear them they'll loosen up a bit too, so don't worry, they look a little small at first. They will definitely stretch just like any crocheted item, especially after you wash them. I recommend using soft yarn. As you can see, I'm using alpaca. For colder winters I suggest going for a wool blend, like wool with acrylic or wool with cotton. Pure acrylic I wouldn't really recommend because it won't keep your feet very warm and the socks will peel quickly. So if you're making this as a gift, definitely go for good quality yarn, and this yarn I can absolutely recommend. So I've chained 70 stitches and it measures about 53 centimeters. Now we're going to grab the smaller hook and we'll work 6 stitches down with it. Starting from the second chain from the hook, we are going to make slip stitches. So go ahead and work 6 slip stitches down. Then switch back to the bigger hook and continue crocheting all the way to the end of the chain. And I know some of you might be wondering, can you use other stitches instead? Technically, yes, you could use single crochet if you want, but I wouldn't recommend going for taller stitches like half double crochets or double crochets. crochets. Also try to keep your tension very loose. First, it will make it much easier to insert your hook into these stitches in the following rows, and second, the fabric won't tighten up too much, which sometimes happens if you're working only with slip stitches. So just hold your working yarn loosely on your finger and pull it through a bit more generously. Now work slip stitches all the way down the chain. So I've reached the end of the chain. I placed some stitch markers here just to show you what we need to do next. Right now our working loop is at the bottom of the sock. From this bottom point we need to measure the length of the foot and place a marker at the stitch that matches your foot length. Then from that marker count 15 stitches up. That section is going to be for the heel. For men's size you'll need to count 17 stitches up instead. Now we can remove the marker we used for the foot length. The only marker we need to keep is one at the top. I made a little chart for you, and this last diagram shows our starting chain. In the first row, as you can see, I marked where the bottom of the sock is and where the top is. Now we need to do is remember how many stitches you have up to that top marker. We'll need this number later on. For the women's European sizes 36 to 39, I'm counting 17 stitches down from the top of the sock, and the marker is placed on the 18th stitch. For the men's European sizes 40 to 43, I have 25 stitches down to the marker, and the marker itself is on the 26th stitch. If your foot size falls within this range, you can just follow along exactly and not worry about doing any extra calculations. So I've kept only the top marker, the one closer to the top of the sock. Take another look at the diagrams to make sure everything's clear. We are continuing with a larger hook. Chain 1 during your work, and now starting from the second stitch from the hook, work slip stitches in the back loop only. Again, keep your tension very loose. Work all the way to the marker. It might feel like the measuring and counting is a bit confusing at first, but just take a minute to walk through it. If you have questions, drop them in the comments, I'll do my best to answer. There's really nothing tricky here. Make one sock and the second one will be so much easier. So I've reached the marker and I'm working into the stitch where the marker was placed. Again, at the top we should have 15 stitches left for the women's size or 17 stitches for the men's size. Now chain 1, turn your work, and starting from the second stitch from the hook, work into the back loop only. Crochet 15 stitches down or 17 stitches for the men's size. I worked 15 stitches and now we need to add 2 slip stitches. These extra stitches will help the heel start to bend. Now without chaining, turn your work and starting from the third loop from the hook, work into the back loop only, crochet 13 stitches up. For the men's instructions, just keep an eye on the screen so I don't have to repeat in them and you don't get confused. We always need to leave 2 stitches unworked. This goes for the women's size, the men's size, and even kids size, by the way. Now chain 1, turn your work and crochet 13 stitches down, starting from the second stitch from the hook. And don't forget to work into that very last stitch. It's usually the trickiest one to see, kind of hidden behind the little bar, but make sure you count your stitches so you don't miss it. Now we need to insert the hook into this little bar, the one right on top of the chain from the previous row, and at the same time insert the hook into the next stitch on our very first row. Pull through all 3 loops on the hook to make a slip stitch. After that, make 1 more slip stitch into the next stitch. So basically every time we're working down, we need to add 2 extra stitches. Now turn your work without chaining, starting from the 3rd loop from the hook, crochet 11 stitches up, again leaving 2 stitches unworked at the end. I left 2 stitches unworked. Now chain 1, turn your work, and starting from the 2nd loop from the hook, crochet 11 slip stitches down. Don't forget about that very last stitch, always count your stitches carefully. At the end, we need to add 2 extra stitches again. First, insert the hook into this little bar, then into the next stitch on the first row, make a slip stitch, and then make 1 more slip stitch into the following stitch. Turn your work, and without chaining, starting from the 3rd loop from the hook, crochet 9 stitches up. I left 2 stitches unworked, chain 1, turn your work, and starting from the 2nd loop from the hook, crochet 9 slip stitches down. At the very end, add 2 extra stitches again. Turn your work, and from the 3rd stitch from the hook, without chaining, crochet 7 stitches up. We're almost there, you just need to keep going until you reach 5 stitches. Chain 1, turn your work, and work 7 slip stitches down. At the bottom, add 2 extra stitches, turn your work again, and crochet 5 stitches up. So I've finished 5 stitches up. For the men's size, you also need to decrease down to 5 stitches, and this is what we have so far. Now chain 1, turn your work, and crochet 5 stitches down. Don't forget to add those 2 extra stitches at the bottom. From here, we just need to keep working all the way back up, filling in all these little steps. Like I said, for the men's size, you also need to bring it down to 5 stitches. Turn your work, and without chaining, starting from the 3rd loop from the hook, crochet 5 stitches up. Now we've reached the first little step. See this little bar here? Insert your hook into that bar and right away into the next stitch on the other step. Then make a slip stitch. After that, insert your hook into the next stitch and make 1 more slip stitch. The next step, again, into this little bar and right away into the next stitch on the other step and make a slip stitch and slip stitch into the next stitch. We need to keep working across all these steps the same way. Insert your hook into the bar, then crochet 2 slip stitches into the next step, again into the bar, then 2 stitches into the next step. Once you've reached the very top, just keep crocheting all the way to the end of the sock. And that's it, the hard part is done, the tricky heel shaping is finished. From here on everything will be much easier until we get to the heel on the other side. So I worked up to the top of the sock, now chain 1, turn your work and with a smaller hook, crochet the first 6 stitches down. We do this so the top of the sock hugs the ankle nicely and doesn't end up too wide. After that, switch back to the larger hook and keep crocheting all the way down, just don't work the last 4 stitches of the row. And here at the heel, be careful not to miss that one stitch right before the bar. After the bar, you can go straight into the next stitches. I left 4 stitches unworked, now chain 1, turn your work and crochet all the way up to the top. Here's the only thing you need to keep in mind, from now on we'll be alternating short rows and long rows. The row we just did where we stopped 4 stitches before the end, that's a short row. Now we need to go back up and then the next row will be a long row because we'll be crocheting until the end. Don't worry, you'll see exactly how it works as we go. I've reached the end, now chain 1, turn your work and with a smaller hook crochet 6 stitches down. Then switch back to the larger hook and this row will be a long row. We need to crochet all the way to the toe of the sock. Once you reach this little step, don't forget to work into the very last stitch. Then insert your hook into the bar and into the next stitch and make a slip stitch. Keep crocheting all the way to the end. So that was a long row. Now chain 1, go back up and the next row will be again a short row. Basically, we'll keep alternating long rows and short rows. There is nothing difficult here, we're just doing this so the toe of the sock starts to taper nicely. So I worked up to the top of the sock and made 6 stitches down with a smaller hook. Now we're back to a short row. We need to stop 4 stitches before the bottom. I stopped 4 stitches before the end, chain 1, turn your work and crochet all the way back up. Now the next row will be a long row, so just keep repeating the same pattern. We did a short row, leaving 4 stitches unworked, then turned and went up to the top. The next row is a long row, so we crochet all the way down to the end, chain 1, turn, go back up again. After that, the next one will be a short row, stop 4 stitches before the end, then back up, then a full row down and so on. This is how we shape the toe of the sock. I'll show you one more time how to work across a little step in a long row and then you'll be able to keep going on your own. So right now we are working across the width of the sock. When it's time to work a long row, we crochet down until we reach this little step. Then insert the hook into the bar, then into the next stitch, and keep crocheting all the way to the end of the row. After that, chain 1, turn your work and go back up. So that's the idea, we just keep alternating short rows and long rows until we reach the width we need for the sock. I timed it, and one sock takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours to make if you sit and crochet without breaks. Just make sure to keep your stitches loose like I mentioned earlier, so it's easy to insert the hook. As you are working on the width, don't make it super wide. Remember, the sock should hug your foot. For the women's size, I'll be making 20 of these little braids, that's basically 40 rows. For the men's size, I'll do 22 braids. And keep in mind the fabric stretches really well. If your foot is quite wide, you can add 2 more braids. So I finished the width I need. We'll count by these little braids, starting right from the heel, so the very first braid coming out of the heel counts as a number 1. I worked 20 braids, and we should finish at the bottom of the sock on a long row. Again, if you feel like you need more rows, you can absolutely add more, it's totally up to you. Now we are going to start working the heel upward. For that, you'll need to remember the number I asked you to keep in mind at the very beginning. For the women's size, it was 17 stitches up to the heel. For the men's size, it was 25. That number we add the heel stitches, 15 for the women's size, 17 for the men's size, plus 1 more stitch to attach the heel. So in total, count that number of stitches down from the top of the sock, place a marker there, and crochet until you reach the marker. So here, for the men's size, you should have 43 stitches with the marker placed on stitch 43. Or the women's size, 33 stitches with the marker on the stitch 33. Now we are going to crochet upward, chain 1 and work as usual until you reach the marker. We've reached the marker. Remove it, and from the stitch where the marker was, start crocheting 5 stitches up. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Like this. Chain 1, turn your work, and from the second loop from the hook, crochet 5 stitches down. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Chain 1 again, turn your work, and from the second loop from the hook, crochet 5 stitches up, and don't forget that very last stitch. Next, insert your hook into the bar and add 2 more stitches into the main work. That gives us a total of 7 stitches here. Now chain 1, turn your work, and from the second loop from the hook, crochet 7 stitches down. Chain 1, turn your work, and from the second loop from the hook, crochet 7 stitches up. At the end, add 2 more stitches, insert your hook into the bar and then into the next stitch. And into the next stitch. That gives us a total of 9 stitches. Chain 1, turn your work, and crochet 9 stitches down. As you can see, we are going to keep increasing until we reach 15 stitches for the women's size and 17 stitches for the men's size. At the end, chain 1, turn your work, crochet 9 stitches up, and then add 2 more at the end. That gives us 11 stitches in total. chain 1, turn your work and crochet 11 stitches down. Chain 1, turn your work, crochet 11 stitches up, and then add 2 more at the end. That gives us 13 stitches in total. Chain 1, turn your work and crochet 13 stitches down. Chain 1, turn your work, we're almost done, crochet 13 stitches up. As you know, for the men's size you'll keep going until you reach 17 stitches, for us we're stopping at 15 stitches. So right now crochet 13 stitches up, and at the very end add 2 more stitches, that gives us a total of 15. Now chain 1, turn your work, we're almost done, crochet 15 stitches down, and now we just need to crochet all the way up to the top of the sock. We won't be adding any more stitches. If you are making the men's size, you'll need to work a few more rows until you reach 17 stitches. Once you have 17 stitches, at the very top, at the top of the heel, you'll also crochet all the way up to the top of the sock. When the heel is finished, insert your hook into this bar here and keep crocheting upward. Crochet all the way up to the top of the sock, then work your way back down to the top of the heel. I'll meet you right here and we'll start working across all the little steps together. I've reached the top of the heel. Now insert a hook into this bar and make a slip stitch. Next, insert the hook between the chains and make another slip stitch. Again into the bar, then between the chains. Keep repeating this all the way across the heel. And at the very end, insert a hook between the chains and make the last slip stitch on the heel. From here we keep crocheting down. This will be a short row, so don't work the last 4 stitches before the toe. one turn you work and we've only got 2 more rows left. Now crochet all the way up as usual and then work one long row all the way down. After that we'll stop and start sewing the sock together. So I finished the long row down and this is what we've got. Now we are going to fold the sock in half. Don't worry if it looks narrow, it stretches really well. We just need to position it so that the working loop is on the top side of the sock like this. Fold the sock together, insert a hook into the first stitch on one side, grab the loop from the other side and pull it through. Then insert a hook into the next stitch on one side and into the back loop on the other side and make a slip stitch. Do the same again. Next stitch, back loop from the other side, slip stitch. Keep going like this all the way up to the edge of the sock. At the very end, chain 1 and cut the yarn. All that's left is to take a needle and close out the toy. Just view the needle through these little bars and pull tight to close the sock all the way around. Then viewing the yarn ends, both here and at the top of the sock, and that's it, the sock is finished. Now just turn it right side out. So here's our finished sock. You just need to make the second one the same way. You can wear them right away or give them to someone. Next I'll be making a pair for my husband and after that I'll move on to the baby socks. Here's how it looks. This is on my foot and my size is 38. You can also steam block it if you want, so it stretches out a little more and the sock becomes softer and fluffier. Like I mentioned earlier, you can actually finish a pair of socks in just one day if you crochet non-stop. It's totally doable. Or you can stretch it out and enjoy the process over a week. Now I'm making socks for my husband, following the instructions I showed you on a screen for the men's size. His size is European 43. If you want to go bigger than 43, all you need to do is to add 10 more chains to your starting chain. Basically, you can just add 10 stitches everywhere and that's it. Of course, it's best to check the charts I shared at the beginning so you can clearly see how to adjust. But in general, for a bigger size, just add 10 stitches to the chain and increase the heel too. For example, instead of 17 stitches on the heel, leave 19 or more. Making larger sizes is actually easier and more straightforward than making tiny baby socks. Right now I chained 80 stitches, already marked where the heel will start and left 17 stitches for the heel. Now I'll crochet everything exactly the same way. For the width I'll be making 22 braids. If you have wider feet, you can make 24 braids. After sewing, make sure to steam block the socks so the stitches relax and even out. And here are the men's socks I made for size 43. They stretch really well and keep in mind they'll stretch even more after wearing. As you can see, my husband tried them on and they fit him perfectly. Now I'm going to start making socks for our daughter. I had some yarn left over from my own socks, and I still had leftovers from the men's pair too, so I'd said even for bigger sizes than 43, 4 skeins are definitely enough. With the leftover yarn, I'll make tiny newborn socks. I'll be using the exact same method, just with fewer stitches. In a moment, I'll write out the principle for the baby size, but again, I recommend looking back at the charts so you can adjust for your baby's exact foot length. Measure the length of your baby's foot in centimeters for the heel. Instead of 15 stitches, leave about 11. For newborn size, I'll be leaving just 7 stitches up for the heel. So I left 7 stitches unworked from the top of the sock, and now I'm started to make a heel. The heel I'm going to work with just 7 stitches, exactly the same way we made the adult socks. I'll decrease the heel until I have 3 stitches left. 3 is the minimum. You shouldn't go any lower than that. For an older child, you can leave 9 stitches for the heel or even 11 stitches, so basically 2 more stitches. Just keep in mind your starting chain will also need to be longer to match that. Here's the tiny little heel I ended up with. From here on, the pattern is exactly the same as for the adult socks. At the top of the sock with a smaller hook, you can work only 3 stitches, so the sock sits a little narrower at the ankle. And at the bottom for the short rows, you can also leave 3 stitches instead of 4 like we did for an adult size. For the width, I'll be making 12 braids. Then from the top I count the 7 stitches I originally left before the heel, plus 7 stitches for the heel, plus 1 more. I count that number down and crochet until I reach it. Then I work the heel exactly the same way, starting with 3 stitches and increasing until I reach 7. After that, I sew the sock together, and here's the tiny little sock I got. For the top edging, I insert my hook between the chains, not into the chain themselves, and I work this little combo, single crochet, double crochet and another single crochet, all in the same space. I repeat this combo between each chain. At the very end, I join with a slip stitch, cut the yarn and sew in the ends. And that's it, our tiny sock is done. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments, I'll try to answer them all. Or let me know in the comments if you'd like me to record a separate video just for kids socks, not the adult ones, but only the children's version, please let me know. These little socks are so quick, you can literally make 2 pairs in about an hour. Don't forget to steam all the socks either with an iron or a steamer, and then they are all ready to be gifted. So, as you can see, these are the socks that I've made with you today. The off-white are for me, the brown ones are for my husband, and the little ones for our daughter. My husband has already been wearing these socks for about a week, and they stretch out a little bit, comparing with a freshy one. For example, these are my socks that I haven't wear yet. So the freshly made pair of socks may look a little bit small, but after wearing, they shape your foot perfectly. My husband wears European size 43 and these socks fit him really well. If you want to make a bigger size, don't worry, just add more stitches to your starting chain and for the heel section. So if you will follow the exact number of stitches that I made for the brown socks, they will fit sizes 40, 41, 42 and 43, it's European size because they stretch well. For the larger sizes like 44, 45, 46, 47, I'd recommend you to add 10 or maybe 15 stitches to start in chain, and for the heel section add 2 more stitches, not 17, maybe 19 or maybe 21 stitches for the heel, and then crochet the heel down until you have 5 stitches left, as we did on my socks or as I did on the brown socks. Honestly, bigger sizes are easier to make than smaller ones. Now let's talk about the kids socks. Process is exactly the same, but of course with a fewer stitches. For the newborn size, for the heel, I made 7 stitches and then decreased them until I have 3 stitches left. Everything else is made exactly the same way, but of course there are a fewer braids here. For example, for the women's socks I made 20 braids after the heel and before the next heel. For the men's socks I made 22 braids after the heel, and for the baby socks I made 12 braids after the heel. So I hope everything's clear about crocheting socks, and if you have any questions, feel free to add them in the comments. In my opinion, these socks are the most comfortable socks that you can crochet because of the heel, because of this method. This method makes the socks very comfortable because of the heel, because they fit anatomically your foot. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching this video. I'm sure you did well. Of course, if you have questions, please drop them in the comments or DM me on my Instagram. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video and leave your comment. What do you think about crochet socks? And we'll see you in the next video. Bye, kiddos!